Okay, hello there. Welcome to another episode of how to hike and photograph in Iceland without getting completely ruined. So in the last episode I was talking about how to hike around this area here. It's the Fimmvörðuháls area, go from Skoga all the way into Þórsmörk here, and I had a detailed description of how that is, and you can find it in the link up here. Now this time I'm gonna show you how it is to hike around in the Landmannalaugar area. So you got the Laugavegur Trail going from north to south here. So in the last episode you said you could either, once you're here in Basar, you could continue north on the Laugavegur Trail, or you could start from the north. So what I did is you take a bus that costs around €100 from Reykjavik, and it would drive you all the way through this area here. You got the Hekla volcano, and you going over some tiny rivers and stuff like that, and then you end up at the start of the Landmannalaugar, and there is a camping spot there right up here. Zoom all the way in. So it will arrive here, and then you can stay here for the night. Now this is a very nice area to begin exploring. So you're going to arrive sometime in the afternoon, and it's going to be probably too late to start hiking. So my tip is to just explore the area. We've got some nice hot pools around here where you can chillax a little bit, and you got some amazing views around where you can take some photos. So that's what I did. I set up my camera and I photographed this valley down here. You can even go up the mountains a little bit here. You got the Blanakur a little bit to the south there you can climb up. The next day you will begin the hiking. So the official Laugavegur Trail goes around the lava field like this, but I prefer to go through the middle of the field here. So these are some really cool formations here, and I can imagine if the fog rolls in, you're going to get some really nice shots. Now I didn't have that, but I can just imagine how it would be. At the end of the lava field, there's a really nice spot here where you got the mountains in the background, and that looks absolutely stunning. Now one thing to be said of the Landmannalaugar area is that there are no drones allowed here. It's a natural reserve, so you got to fly them some other place. Now Iceland has plenty of spots where you can fly the drones, so but the Landmannalaugar Nature Reserve is not one of them. But if you continue on going this road down here, you will eventually reach a little bit of a hot spot here, which is like a little sulfurous field with some steam coming up from it, and it looks very, very nice, and you can probably get some shots from there. Now after that you got to climb up this mountain. So this is a pretty cool area. It's a absolutely devastated wasteland. When I went through here, it was terrible weather. The wind was absolutely crazy, and it started snowing and raining, and it can actually get quite dangerous around here if the weather turns. Now the Icelandic weather is something to be respected. It can turn really, really ugly with some very ferocious winds, and that's what I had there. So there is a little mountain here you can climb up to and get some amazing views, and I did that, and the views are amazing, but the weather was a disaster and I could not really get the camera out. It was that windy. However, continuing down through this wasteland here, eventually you will come to an ice patch, and if you go a little bit further you will have some hot wells, get a little bubbly water and steam coming up from the ground, which could be something to photograph. And then at the end of your hiking day you will reach Hrafntintuskur, which is the first base station where you will be staying. Now it's a quite nice area. It's got some camping spots that are quite well. They are all guarded with some rocks around them, and I think if you come in early and get time to explore the area and set up a camera, you can get some pretty nice shots around here. It's a very good black and white spots because you got the snow and the dark sands to contrast each other, and you get some nice patterns if you just look around carefully enough. And I had a good time photographing here. Now we had some terrible weather, so we had to sleep inside, and it costs quite a bit to sleep inside, so that's not to be recommended. However, the next day the journey continues. similar wasteland that you have to go through, although there is going to be more snow and ice than yesterday. So you're going to see left and right there's going to be ice patches, which creates these nice chances to get some black and white photos. And towards the end of it, once you climb up a little bit of a hill, you're going to come to this place here, which I thought was pretty nice. You got a ledge with a glacier, and you got the contrast between the brown sand, the beige sand, and the glacier there, and I thought that was pretty nice. But what is coming up ahead is even nicer, and that's of course the Alftavatn view. So you get a huge ridge here, and you get this view of the Alftavatn with all the mountains here, and it's absolutely stunning. It doesn't get any better than that. It's enough to make anybody think it's the best view they ever had. I certainly did think so. Once you come up there and you just look around and go like, oh my god, yeah, Iceland is something absolutely special. So you got this whole ridge where you can walk around and set up and find compositions of this absolutely epic landscape. And I took a couple of photos here. You can just look at those and see that, yeah, it's hard to fail. It's definitely a keeper. However, when you continue down, even then it's possible to get some nice shots, and you go through over some streams here, and I think this little mountain ridge to the left was pretty nice. So I set up my camera there and I took some panoramic shots of that mountain there. Towards the end of the day, you will reach the station Alftavatn, and it's a very exposed place because you get the water here, which allows for winds to just come in and just rip your tents to shreds, and it can be pretty tricky if you're not prepared for it and if the weather really turns. But it's a nice enough place, and they even got some food there. I didn't try it myself, but I heard from other people that it's less than stellar. It's super expensive, of course, and it's not that much better than whatever you would cook yourself from your dried food packs. So that's maybe not to be recommended, but it's good to take a little break here. Now you got to decide if you're going to stay here or if you're going to continue on to the next station, which is only like an hour away. It's very, very close, actually. So if you decide to stay, there are plenty of shots to be had around here. And I would recommend, since you're out for photography, that you do take it easy. So you could stay here, take it easy, and then continue to the next station, even though it's only 1 hour walk away, and stay there for the full night. But when you do continue on, you will go over this little ridge here, and then you're going to see this mountain there, which is very spectacular, and it's really easy to get some really nice shots from that. And this whole area here that you're about to enter is one of the better spots of the whole Laugavegur Trail, if not the best. So you get crisscrossing little ravines here, which makes for excellent compositions, and if you go out to the ridge here, you will get this mountain in full view. And this is a classic place. You've probably seen this mountain in other photographers' work. It's a very popular destination for workshops, and because there's quite a lot to do around here. You can just park your car down at the next station and walk around here for a couple of days, actually. So I do recommend giving this area some extra time. So you walk in to the station here, down here, and there are some nice places to camp, which are protected. And they got a little hut as well, and you got toilets and those kind of things. And it's a perfect base for exploring the area. Now I recommend either going up to where I showed before, or follow this river here, or going in through in the valley. Maybe try to shoot the mountains on this side here, because they kind of are dramatic and nice. Or you can climb up this little mountain here and get some nice views and compositions. The next day you will continue, and now we'll enter a completely different type of landscape. You're getting like the classic Icelandic moon landscape with little rocks and this dark sand with the green glowing mountains in the distance. And the first spot here is well worth a stop. You got the river going through and a nice mountain there, and I thought that made for a very good spot. You continue on, you got to traverse a pretty deep river actually, and it was a bit tricky, but it's completely safe. It never reaches above your waist when you're wading through it, and on you go, and it's going to be more of this moon landscape with the little dots of green mountains in it. So at first glance it might not look like it's that epic, but there are spots to stop and take once you find the mountains. And one of them would be around here. You come into this raging river and you can compose that and have the mountains in the background, and on you go. I think this was a good spot where got the mountains in the background there. And you go through and you come to this other big mountains here, which has a huge potential. So you can walk around this a little bit on the sides here and explore and get some nice compositions in. But I didn't get a good shot of this one when I was there, but I think there is definitely potential to get some great shots of that one. Now you're going to come into the Emstruar huts in a while, and the entrance to it is very spectacular. You go around a corner and it opens up into this quite magical view. So Emstruar, you can see the area you're coming into now. This is one of the better areas as well. So you could also choose to stay around here for a day or two. So you got the glacier to the left and the highlands to the right, and absolutely tons of compositions to be found anywhere. The mountains looks really cool, and the Emstruar huts is actually really nice. There's a big tent there where you can eat your food, and it's quite civilized, the whole thing. So it's well worth staying there for a little bit. And but if you do decide to go on after you feel like you have explored the area, you will go down through some ravines here. You're always going to have the glacier to the left, and you're going to have some ridges here. And then eventually it will give way to yet another different landscape. Now it's going to turn more green and lush. So what you get now is like a grassy landscape, but you got a really dramatic ravine here going alongside of it. And if you look over to the other side, you're going to get these mountains there that looks really cool. You've got some really nice formations there that looks really good. So down you go, and when you come further and further in, it's going to change even more. And now you're going to get Iceland's biggest forest. So this is the Þórsmörk area now that you're entering, and you're going to get these little low-lying birches all over the place. So it's not much of a forest, but it still is a forest, and it might not be exactly what you want from an Icelandic adventure, but it still looks pretty nice. Now you got to look out. There is a bit of a stream here that could get tricky if there's too much water. It was a bit hard to find the right spot to traverse, and I do recommend you walk in pairs. But you go through the forest here, and eventually you will end up down in Þórsmörk. So there's a bit of a camping spot there. You got some huts on this side, and on the other side you got the bazaar that I was talking about in the previous episode. Now this whole area here is of course absolutely amazing, and do recommend you look at that little video I did presenting this area. It's one of my favorite places, and you can have there's lots of photo opportunities there that can be had. But that's what you can be expected to find when you are going at the Landmannalaugar area when you follow the Laugavegur Trail. So there's lots of more to explore around, of course, and I will talk about that in a different video. But for now, that's what I had, and I do hope you make your way to Iceland at some point and enjoy the amazingness that's there. Well, thanks a lot.